Welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. Today, Hillary Clinton is finally being exposed. Clown World is starting Act 2, so sit back, relax as we dive into the rabbit hole. Enjoy.
Hello, Rich.
Gary, can you believe what's going on today?
Oh, what is the latest?
The latest. Your
I
friend...
mean, just today, or mean like in these times?
More recently, just in the past few days, like yesterday and today.
Yeah, I just thought you heard something new today.
No, but your good friend Hillary Clinton, she's in the news again.
No way.
Yes, that John Durham pesky report.
I heard that Durham is, the news never mentions that Durham is busy, do they?
Oh, my goodness. Fun times for Clinton.
Oh, yes. What is the latest Hillary other than...
President Trump back in, actually, it was just a little while ago, in October 2020, that Leslie Stahl interview with President Trump. You hear that one?
I wish you would interview Joe Biden like you interview me. It would be so good. You know what?
You like this, I thought. I thought you liked
I don't mind it. But when I watch him walk out of a store, and he's walking with an ice cream, and the question the media asks him, what kind of ice cream, what flavor ice cream do you have? And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking...
He's
of course
not.
he is,
No,
Leslie.
come on.
Of course he is. It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So,
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign,
there's
Leslie.
no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
Well, here it is, the elusive truth. Here we go, folks. This is what started it all. This is an interview on CNN with Wolf Blitzer and Jake Sullivan. He's the former Biden National Security Advisor.
That it be investigated. How surprised were you to hear last week that this investigation is still ongoing?
I wasn't surprised, because what we learned during the campaign was that very serious computer science experts, people who work closely with the United States government, had uncovered this secret hotline between the Alpha Bank, the Russian bank, and the Trump organization. And we knew that given how serious these computer scientists were, they weren't just making up crackpot theories. So it wasn't surprising to learn that even as of last week, the FBI is still looking into this.
And do you have any idea what they're looking for?
I don't. Of course, I don't have a line into the FBI on this, but what I know based on public reporting is that there is very unusual server activity between this Russian bank and the Trump organization, which suggests contact that took place over the course of the campaign. Getting answers to what the nature of that contact was and why they were going to lengths to hide it, to encrypt it, is really important, and the American people deserve answers.
This is considered the starting point of when the investigations on Russia collusion started with Donald Trump. And here's what the media has been saying or reporting on.
NBC's Russia expert Rachel Maddow, who's been pushing this nonsense for years. Well, here are two clips that Fox News put together.
Donald Trump and William Barr promised that Durham would expose huge corruption, but he hasn't done that.
Is apparently an ongoing, concerted Republican and pro-Trump project to try to turn the investigation of the Russia scandal into some kind of scandal itself.
Oh, no. Okay, wait till the Durham report comes out. And then nothing happens, and they just move on to the next conspiracy theory. It is never going to end. And guess what? People who want to believe that BS are going to believe it.
John Durham is not to be believed.
Well, here it is, the elusive truth. Here we go, folks.
Special counsel John Durham dropping a bombshell that could lead right back to Hillary Clinton. A court filing alleges multiple Clinton campaign staffers hired a technology company to, quote, infiltrate servers at Trump Tower and then later the actual White House in order to try to establish a link from Donald Trump to Russia. And breaking this afternoon, sources telling Fox News that Durham's probe has accelerated with more people cooperating and coming before a grand jury. Republicans say it is proof they've been right all along and that heads should start rolling.
This is what's so egregious and so wrong about it. I mean, you think about it, they spied on a presidential campaign. That's as wrong as it gets. But then we found out from this filing that they actually spied on a sitting president, which is even worse.
I would expect there to be, frankly, quite a few more indictments. I think this conspiracy, and I do think there was a criminal conspiracy, is broad and deep.
And after endless coverage of the Russia investigation, the media seems to be silent on this particular development. And the way they covered the Durham investigation in the past is drawing even more scrutiny.
Well, I don't know what the weird stuff.
So, okay, listen to this. This is from Jesse Waters, Fox News, called Hillary's Web of Lies.
That's essentially what happened with the 2016 election. The refs of our political system, the media, FBI, and the intelligence community, not only failed to keep Hillary Clinton in check, they connived together. The country's still dealing with the consequences. It's been no secret that Hillary refused to accept the results of the election.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
I do think that he knows that he's an illegitimate president. And because of that, he's very insecure about it. Look what he's trying to do now. I mean, part of the Ukraine scandal that is slowly coming to light is he's trying to figure out how to say, no, it wasn't the Russians, even though our intelligence community and everyone who's looked at this said, yeah, it was the Russians. He's trying to say, no, somehow it was, Obama, Hillary, whoever.
Hillary's been unable to move on. And now we know why. She's just sticking with her story. You can't change an alibi. This weekend, special counsel John Durham dropped a bombshell report. They don't call her crooked for nothing. Durham's team filed in court, and if there was ever any doubt that Clinton was behind the Russia hoax, that's officially gone. Durham's documents show that Hillary Clinton hired people who hacked into Trump's home and office computers before and during his presidency and planted evidence that he colluded with Russia. Yeah, you heard that right. Hillary broke into a presidential candidate's computer server and a sitting president's computer server, spying on him. There, her hackers planted evidence, fabricated evidence connecting Trump to Russia, then fed that doctored material to the feds and the media. At first, she just did this to distract from her own email scandal. But then when Trump beat her, she used this hoax as an excuse for losing. This launched a criminal investigation aimed at taking down a sitting president. Hillary Clinton broke the law to frame Trump as a Russian traitor. The media, the so-called umpires of our democracy, went along with the frame job. For years, they backed up whatever lies Hillary was spewing about Donald Trump.
The president is a Russian operative.
This cloud about collusion with Russia will hang over him no matter where he stands.
It does look like he's listening to Putin more than he is American intelligence.
We're about to find out if the new president of our country is going to do what Russia wants. The presidency is effectively a Russian op.
And when some real information came to light, like the fact that the Steele dossier was as phony as my 8th grade girlfriend who supposedly went to another school, they doubled down on their denial, and they trashed John Durham's investigation into their own lies. Listen.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Donald Trump and William Barr promised that Durham would expose huge corruption, but he hasn't done that.
Is apparently an ongoing, concerted Republican and pro-Trump project to try to turn the investigation of the Russia scandal into some kind of scandal itself.
Oh, no. Okay, wait till the Durham report comes out. And then nothing happens, and they just move on to the next conspiracy theory.
The media failed to police Hillary, the dirty cop of politicians, as she pushed an insurrection. The left loves to memorialize January 6th as an attack on our democracy. But if that's true, then what's this? The Russia hoax and the 3-year Mueller investigation did more to undermine faith in our democracy than January 6th. Look at the impact it's had on our country. The credibility of the FBI and the CIA shattered. Federal prosecutors at the Department of Justice no longer trusted. A presidential campaign was broken into, was spied on. And who knows how the Russia hoax affected that race? The 2018 election was interfered with. The Mueller investigation hung a dark cloud over those midterms, costing Republicans the House. The nation was divided. Our foreign policy was affected. And it led to some arguments that ruined quite a few Waters family holidays. Durham's probe has cost 10% of what Mueller's has. And with less time and resources, he found the smoking gun. Was Mueller trying to find answers, or was he covering the left's tracks? We know the answer. Mueller was a mop-up job, and he was just there to tee up impeachment. According to Durham's filing, this hacking of Trump dates all the way back, you ready, to 2014, well before he came down that golden escalator. Former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, has revealed that Hillary's motives to frame Trump were no secret. The CIA, FBI, the DOJ, and even Obama himself were briefed that the Russia hoax was a Clinton dirty trick. But they all went along with it, didn't they? Ratcliffe believes that there is more than enough evidence for, quote, multiple indictments. So who could be next? Are James Clapper and John Brennan next on the chopping block? They did a pretty good job of trying to throw us off Hillary's trail. Listen to how they responded when former Attorney General William Barr said in congressional testimony he believed Trump was spied on.
Well, I was very disappointed in what Attorney General Barr said today about spying when he was referring to the investigation that was predicated, certainly, and that the FBI was trying to understand exactly what the Russians were doing.
I thought it was both stunning and scary. I was amazed at that and rather disappointed that the Attorney General would say such a thing. That, you know, the term spying has all kinds of negative connotations, and I have to believe he chose that term deliberately.
You know, feds usually circle the wagons around other feds, so who knows what's going to happen to those two clowns. But this is a level of corruption not seen in American history. This is more brazen than the Watergate break-in. Hillary's hackers broke in, planted evidence, then got the feds to try throwing a president out of office. Isn't it time she faced the consequences?
Yeah.
Has the time finally come? Are we witnessing the end of the Clinton dynasty, one of the 5 families of the Democrat Party? It looks like Hillary's played her last get-out-of-jail-free card, while Bill's felt the wrath of the Me Too movement and lost his pilot's wings from his days on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express. Bill Clinton was on those flights.
Numerous times.
On the flights that Bill Clinton was on with Jeffrey Epstein, the stewardess or stewardesses, many of them were underage, were dressed as candy stripers.
Correct.
And there were beds in the back of the plane?
Beds, bedroom. Yes.
Even the Clintons' phony charity foundation's been exposed as a pay-for-play scheme. Sorry, Chelsea, but I think your parents have left you high and dry.
Where everything's been about, you know, Canada and the Freedom Rally, and then Justin Trudeau and all that, and it's amazing what's going on there. But like I said, I don't think you've been listening to what's going on with this John Durham report, because you'd be freaking out right now.
I have been gone. The past 2 days have been like 12-hour days.
Well, when you listen to this podcast, you'll hear it, and you'll be like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, good.
Yeah, your friend Hillary Clinton, she's in the spotlight.
Oh, I think it might be the last of her spotlighting. I got a Hillary Clinton joke for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You know what Bill Clinton says to his wife every time after sex?
What?
I'll be home in 30 minutes, honey. Okay, that's
Yeah. No, that's absolutely amazing. But yes, the majority of this podcast is about Hillary Clinton, the exposing of her actual corruption, and once again, vindicating President Donald J. Trump.
You would expect in third world countries, but in fact, here in America, we have had surveillance of a sitting president. Hillary Clinton and her campaign set up President Trump during his campaign and after he won the presidency in 2016 and 17. Special counsel John Durham's latest filing on the Russia collusion lie reveals the Clinton campaign paid a government-contracted technology company to intercept and spy on President Trump before and during his time as president, mining data from Trump Tower in New York, his Central Park West apartment building, as well as the Oval Office. Congressman Mike Turner with me yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures.
For years, the media parroted the Democrat narrative about Russia collusion. And now, as we're learning week after week, that was a complete lie. The latest with the Durham report is that the Clinton campaign, the same group that fearmongered this Russian collusion, actually spied on the President of the United States. They spied on the President of the United States. They spied and they lied. We need accountability. We need accountability for the Clinton campaign. We need accountability for Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler, because they were complicit in this. So the media needs to start doing their job, talk about exactly what's coming out, and hold these people accountable. On top of that, the Attorney General, Garland, he needs to be out there and making sure that Durham has all the resources he needs to do a thorough investigation.
Yes, it's just so psychotic that they could make up a lie, believe in their own lie, and then try to push the lie onto others. They start to believe their own lies.
They believe that Watergate was one of the worst things that ever happened. We have now many people, including senators, saying that this Hillary Clinton collusion scandal triples that. So,
she had her fingerprints on every part of that.
Watch, you'll see. It's all coming out. And oh my goodness, February has been getting crazy. Accusations, and actually been getting crazy with all this new enlightenment that's coming out. And what makes it even more prevalent is that people are waking up and understanding, I've had the wool pulled over my eyes for the past 3-4 years.
Oh, man, it's been a lot more than that. But
coming in our whole life, ever since the cabal and all this craziness, more specifically, since these lockdowns, since this thing to flatten the curve, since COVID came out, we really got to see what our governments were about and what they really truly believe is best for our interests. And that's where I'm coming back for the past 4 years. That it's been building up with these accusations against Trump, Clinton, Epstein, you throw everything into this whole world matter, and it's been crazy.
Well, it all goes back to we'd have had another 8 years of Obama. That'd have been 16 years if Trump wouldn't have won, because Hillary would have just followed the complete Obama agenda.
Oh, absolutely. Again,
and so we could have been destroyed as a nation in 16 years of that. And look what Trump interrupted. He stopped it at Obama. And now Biden is in there now trying to pick up. I bet you Obama's running the show for Biden from behind the scenes.
Well, more things are going to be coming out from this, because this is just opening up the can of worms. It really is.
Yes. Have you heard about there's two other things I wanted to just squeeze in here is have you heard the coronal, the sun, the mass ejections that have been exploding on the sun?
No.
The CMEs, they're called?
No.
Supposedly, it sent so many powerful rays, gamma rays or whatever rays, took out 40 of Starlink's satellites. But I just find that kind of crazy, because I always look at how can it not take out like a lot more than just 40? If it's going to wipe out 40, wouldn't it wipe out like hundreds of them?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about that at all because
You haven't? Okay.
Well, no,
I
it's just
heard
because
that.
mainly everything's been about Canada and the Freedom Rally, and then Justin Trudeau and all that, and
the buildup at Ukraine. And a real quick one, Mike Lindell has sent several semis up to the Canadian border full of pillows to provide as charity to thousands of truckers, which is a beautiful cause.
It is a beautiful cause. But Justin Trudeau just invoked the what did he just do? The National Security Act, and so all those pillows will be confiscated. They'll not get to one trucker.
Yes, because they're aiding and abetting internal terrorists.
Truckers or something to that effect, and they're the terrorists. And
yeah, that's what I mean. They're calling the truckers terrorists.
What it boils down to is Justin Trudeau days are numbered. He is scrambling, and he's making more of an ass of himself
they're
than
not
anything.
over. Not even numbered. I thought they'd have booted him out by now.
You have faith in your government that much that he'd be booted out by now? It takes months and months. It takes years. Think about it. Look at this whole thing with Clinton and President Trump. Look at this whole election scandal. And things are coming out, and it takes years before anything can happen. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So that's why Trudeau is still in power, but Trudeau is slowly losing his control over everything. The Canadian people will prevail, and this will be the big kickoff of this reversal of the practices of these mandates and mass mandates and these vaccinations. Even our good friend Dr. Fauci, he came out and he had this to say.
What recommendation do you anticipate making to President Biden when it comes time to either extend that mandate or close it out? Where do you think we are?
Hallie, I don't want to get ahead of the decision-making process because a lot of it is going to depend on what I mentioned just a moment ago, namely the trajectory of that downward dynamic. Because if things start plateauing and going up, which I don't think they will, I hope they won't, but we want to make sure that when we make a decision, it's based on the science as we see it at that time, and it continues to change. Fortunately for us, it's going in the right direction right now. And I think when the time comes for any kind of a policy decision to be made, it will be based on the data as it is. So why don't we just hold off before we make any predictions about that?
That guy's nuts. He just wants to get. We have to trust the science, he says. And one of the craziest things that just popped up, I swear to you, it just popped up. It is called the BA2 stealth Omicron subvariant. It's coming out.
No way! You said another one was coming out.
Already out, dude. It's already
What
out.
did they name it?
The BA2 stealth Omicron subvariant.
That sounds like a deadly military weapon.
It's stealthy. No one knows about it. Keep your eyes and ears open for that one. And
you get this news fast, Rich. I haven't heard that yet.
Oh, yes. That came out actually yesterday. And now and for even the best thing, our wonderful state of Oregon, we're going to be one of the last states to say, hey, we don't need masks anymore. So keep wearing them.
And where's this one originating? Where's it originating? In South Africa again?
It's so stealthy, no one knows yet.
Oh, I hope those 100,000 Russian troops don't get it on the border, or they'll be masked up together without masks.
Well, we've been shipping plexiglass over there, so no COVID over there. But you're going to see it. It's going to happen. It's already starting. And Dr. Fauci, he will come out and let us know exactly what the deal is with this new subvariant. Mark my words, he's coming out with it.
Wow. Well, I have just been getting into this with my sister-in-law, who has a bad case of TDS, and then that reverts to everything else that she hears. The TDS, Trump derangement syndrome.
There's a lot of people like that.
So anything that I say, if I'm a Trumpite, has to be wrong. Because people with Trump derangement syndrome have completely opposite viewpoints of it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this was unbelievable. They were talking about how she said how Spotify should have abandoned Joe Rogan. And I'm like, what? She says, there are so many great doctors that have worked with the WHO and have worked with the inventing of these, all this stuff. And that Dr. Malone was a fraud and he can't invent anything. And I said, his name is on the patents of it. She goes, his name and all the other scientists. I said, well, how did they allow his name? If that had nothing to do with it. And it was just, there's still people that think that Malone spouted misinformation.
Yeah, we said it before in previous podcasts. No matter what you tell some people, they will never believe it. Right?
That's my whole point. It's just don't know where. But I did end the conversation real sweet with her, and she didn't have anything to say. This could be my new weapon. You know what? I said, those are wonderful organizations. And I love the U.S. FDA regulatory board making sure drug approval is gone through the strictest, most stringent USDA, every kind of guidelines. Let's say that all it takes is one or two evil ones in those super fine organizations to dilute the waters and turn all that great work upside down. She's like, what do you mean? I go, well, if the cabal is controlling Pfizer and these other organizations, that's what I'm saying. They let them invent all this stuff, and they're the Dr. Evil at the top of the food chain. And she's like, no. Oh, no, you don't think that there could be evil in any one of these organizations to ruin all the great knowledge that have been put into it? She goes, no, that ain't possible. But I'm just only saying this as an example of how twisted people can never change their thoughts.
No, absolutely.
They don't believe in change. They expect others to change to their point of view. But you can't change their point of view.
No. Never. There's going to be a certain group of people that will never, ever believe any of this. What's nice is that more and more people are starting to see that CNN, even Fox News, ABC, CBS, all these organizations have been feeding us a load of crap. Basically, as we said before, their narrative, time after time, we're proving how they colluded all together rather than working for the American people or the citizens of the world by providing accurate, newsworthy stories.
Just don't mention the word Anunnaki to them. You may have to open up a whole new can of worms.
It's way beyond that because we're talking about things that happened in our past and then probably are going to be in our future as well. We're having trouble right now in these days of dealing with reality. And
that's true.
And that's why it's harder for some people. We can't even go there. We were talking about before that it's hard for people to even imagine the fourth dimension because, living in 3D is bad enough. And we're so manipulated in every dimension that I guess that's just the course of our reality is that manipulation is here. It's been here. It's always going to be here. And it's up to people to get past that, have that higher vibration, have that love, have that compassion, get rid of this negativity, just like you see with these Canadians and this trucker-inspired conspiracy theory that the world is witnessing and is actually making a change for the good of mankind. So out to you guys.
It is worldwide. You got that right.
Thank you, Canadians. We're opening our eyes. The truth is coming out. Now people understand why the truth is so elusive. It's based on money, power, control, the few elite that make everything happen.
You don't even have to be a rebel. If you speak the truth, they call it an act of rebellion.
As Trudeau says, You are an insurrectionist. You are a treason. You are a bigot. You are a anti-fascist. You are everything that is deplorable in the world because you are showing your true self, your true love. That's all they can do. They only have words now, words to combat their ineffectiveness.
All they can do is try to attack the other side.
Exactly.
And tear them down and belittle them.
That's all they have because they have no facts. They don't have a backbone or spine. So it's that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
The sword is mightier than the pen. Right? I mean, seriously. But that's when it, in reality, the pen, sitting down, talking things over, discussing ideas. It's just how it is in the world. That's how it's supposed to be. It started, I think, in the 60s and then got eroded. And the 80s were a time of promise. And then I guess we started getting into this comfort zone in the 90s and 2000s. And then just not paying attention to what's really going on with everything.
Well, they allowed us to dumb down like almost a generation and a half.
Most people, they won't understand this until they do get older. But wow, 50 years ago, what a difference. What a difference the world we live in now, especially the past 4 years. So
for the new shift, the new paradigm is coming. I'm just waiting to see what happens in Ukraine. To me right now, that is my biggest, watchdog here, because this is going to be Putin testing the art of war. Is he going to wait him out and give an element of surprise? Is he bluffing? I don't think Putin bluffs.
Nancy Pelosi has a lot to say about the Ukraine, and here she is with George Stephanopoulos to talk about that and much more. Have a listen.
Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Madam Speaker, thank you for coming in again this morning.
My pleasure. Good morning.
You just saw those reports right there. The White House is warning of an imminent invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainians seem to think that that's all hype. Do you believe that Putin is poised to invade?
Well, I think we have to be prepared for it. And that is what the president is. Yes, I do believe that he is prepared for an invasion. I also understand why the president of Ukraine wants to keep people calm and that he wants his economy not to suffer. But on the other hand, if we were not threatening the sanctions and the rest, it would guarantee that Putin would invade. Let's hope that the diplomacy works. It's about diplomacy deterrence. Diplomacy deterrence. And the president has made it very clear. There's a big price to pay for Russia to go there. So if Russia doesn't invade, it's not that he never intended to. It's just that the sanctions
Are you worked. Convinced that President Biden is doing everything he can to prevent an invasion? Is Congress doing everything you can to prevent an invasion?
Well, I'm very proud of the work the president has done. The unity of our allies and NATO to come to an agreement as to the severity of the sanctions in using them.
Let's talk about the situation here at home. Families are feeling a hit from the highest inflation in 40 years right now, costing the average American family about $275 a month. What can Congress do right now to bring those costs down?
Well, let me just talk about the inflation thing, because people are saying, well, what we're spending is causing inflation. The fact that people have jobs always contributes to increase in inflation, and that's a good thing. But inflation is not a good, we have to contain it.
Wages are not keeping up with prices.
That's right. And let me just say about what Congress has been doing. When we did the Competes Act last week, what contributes to inflation? More people having jobs, scarcity of product, which makes prices go up, and the rest. So when we passed the Competes Act last Friday, this was a giant step forward. Now we have to go to conference with the Senate, and we will shortly, and we'll send it to the president's desk. But what that does is address the supply chain shortages that we have, and therefore will decrease inflation. Secondly, it's important to note this about the BBB. The BBB is a deficit reduction bill. It's a bill that, and some people say when you increase the national debt, you increase inflation. 17 Nobel laureates wrote that the way the BBB was written, with long-term investments and increasing the capacity of people to participate in our success, is non-inflationary. In addition to that, the Joint Tax Committee, which is the imprimatur on all these issues, the Joint Tax Committee says that BBB will reduce the national debt by $100 billion in the first 10 years and $1 trillion in the second 10 years. So what we are doing is, what are the three factors? More people going to work, that's a good thing. More product to lower the cost, the supply side of the supply, and more supply, lower cost, and then third, in terms of not increasing the national debt.
But as you know, Senator Manchin, who's the senator that matters right now because he's against it, disagrees. He says it's going to hurt inflation. Let's take a look.
This is not a time to be throwing more fuel on the fire. We have inflation, and we have basically an economy that's on fire. You don't throw more fuel on a fire that's already on fire, causing the problems that we have. So we've got to get our house in order.
Without his vote, this isn't going anywhere.
Well, the fact is that clearly he has. Look, Joe Manchin, as you said, is a senator who counts. Every senator counts, and we have legislation that is so transformative for our country. When you see what President Biden has done in this year, whether it's the rescue package that has put money in people's pockets, taken people off of poverty, vaccines in their arms and the rest, you know that.
Yes, but people aren't feeling it right now. They're upset.
No, I understand that. But there has to be a cumulative effect. And part of the consequences of all of that investment in the infrastructure bill and the rest is that more people have jobs, and therefore inflation goes up. When I first went to Congress, you were there working for Dick Gephardt.
And Dick Gephardt,
yeah,
yes.
Go way back. I went to my first meeting where the head of the Fed came in to talk about inflation and unemployment. That was a requirement that the chairman report to Congress on that. And the first thing Chairman Greenspan said was, unemployment is dangerously low. Well, if you're just measuring it by inflation. But the fact is that the rise in employment and President Biden, nearly 7 million jobs in his year in office. So, yes, we have inflation. It's very important for us to address it. We must bring it down. But it's not right, with all the respect in the world for my friend Joe Manchin, it's not right to say that what we are doing is contributing to inflation, because it is exactly the opposite.
The other thing that's weighing on
17 Nobel laureates, the Joint Tax Committee.
The other thing that's weighing on people right now is rising crime. And there appear to be some divisions among Democrats about how to handle it. Your colleague, Karen Bass, running for mayor of Los Angeles, is trying to increase the police force in L.A. Cori Bush, Congresswoman from Missouri, is saying it's time to defund the police. He's sticking by that. You're the speaker. How do you think Democrats should address rising crime?
Well, with all the respect in the world for Cori Bush, that is not the position of the Democratic Party. Community safety, to protect and defend in every way, is our oath of office. And I have sympathy. We're all concerned about mistreatment of people, and that's why Karen Bass had the Justice and Policing Act, and we would hope to get some of that done, whether it's no-knock or chokehold or some of those issues, even if we can't get it all done. But make no mistake, community safety is our responsibility. And I quote one of my colleagues from New York, Richie Torres, a brand new member of Congress, way on the left, saying that defund the police is dead. That causes a concern with a few in our caucus. But public safety is our responsibility, and I support what Karen Bass is doing, and Mayor Adams of New York.
Inflation, the rising crime are both weighing down on President Biden's approval ratings right now. They're weighing down on Democrats as you head into the midterms. You say you're going to run again this year, but 29 of your fellow Democrats are not running for re-election. How worried are you about the midterms right now?
I don't agonize, I organize. And we are fully intent to win this election. Nothing less is at stake.
That would be bucking history.
Well, forget history. We're talking about future. You know, and when people say, well, the history says that presidents lose seats in the off year, presidents gain seat on the on seat. We didn't gain seats when President Biden won. We worked together to win the Senate, win the House, and win the White House. It was cumulative, but it wasn't an increase. And one of the reasons that in part the president's party loses seats in the off year is because they gain so many on the on year. We won 40 seats into 18, 31 in Trump districts. In this year with Trump on the ballot, we lost a third of those Trump seats. However, the people who survived in those Trump seats with Trump on the ballot are in very good shape. We take nothing for granted. We intend, by redistricting, which did not do us harm, as people predicted, history and all that, by recruitment, great people coming forward and believing that we can win, with raising of money and attracting the support and raising interest in the volunteers. We have every intention, every single day, to do everything in our power. We have decided to win, and that's what we will do.
So if you maintain control, you're going to run for Speaker again?
That's not a question. My purpose right now is just to win that election. Is to win that election. Nothing less is at stake than our democracy. But very important in all that is what it means personally to the American people, to their kitchen table issues, whether they're going to be able to pay for food, for medicine, for rent, children's education, and the rest. So our focus that unifies our Democrats, you talked about what may have divided a few of them, what unifies us is the empathy that we have for America's working families and the priority of meeting their needs. Lower cost, bigger paychecks, lower taxes, all paid for by making everyone pay their fair share with a great president. I think his message, see, when we won in 06 and 08, we were left to our own devices. Just us kids. We didn't have a Democrat in the White House. Now we do, so we're even stronger in the ability to win. And who is more empathetic than Joe Biden, who has a bigger vision, more knowledge, more strategic thinking about all this, more authenticity in associating with America's working families.
Madam Speaker, thanks for your time this morning.
Yes, so onward to a great Democratic victory. Thank you.
I still wonder how she got to be Speaker of the House. That lady's absolutely out of touch with reality. Unbelievable. We'll see. But with that, my friend, we have so much more to talk about, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out from all this Clinton information.
Yes, I can't wait.
Oh,
well,
my goodness.
It's about time John Durham's stuff is going to be out there in the public.
Yes. Well, my friend, you take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
I will. I thank you too, and keep your frequencies high.
See ya.
All right, my friend.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.